Hello everyone and welcome to the Practical English Brain. I'm Rahimi and today I'll be explaining how to change direct speech into indirect speech in present continuous tense in passive form. It may sound somehow difficult, like changing sentences in passive form from direct speech into indirect speech, but because of the fact that I've brought all the structures, I've made it very simple for you. So stay with me till the end of this video and it's gonna become a piece of cake for you to change sentences in passive form of present continuous tense from direct speech into indirect speech. Let's begin with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Look at the first picture. RS here means reporting speech. So he said this is speech. This phrase is reporting speech. Then comma, according to the structure, a comma after he said. Then the quotation marks plus quotation marks. The quotation marks start over here. And then subject, the car is your subject. Then to be verb, are because it's present continuous tense, so you need one of them. So is according to the subject. And then the word being itself, because this is passive form, so it shows the continuation of the action in your passive form. So you need the ing form of to be verbs, being as an auxiliary or helping verb over here. Then V3 in main verb in third form or past participle form, washed. And then by him, by phrase. And if you else after by phrase, there will be rest of the sentence. Then PM means punctuation mark inside the quotation marks. And PM, then quotation marks, you close the quotation marks, and then PM punctuation outside the quotation marks. And I've already explained this so many times. I'm going to say this again. We need two punctuation marks, one inside the quotation marks, one outside the quotation marks. Outside is for my sentence, the one inside is for somebody else's sentence that I've brought in my speech. If you want to change this direct speech into indirect speech, here's your structure. RS again, reporting speech, then the conjunction that, then subject, then be in second form, was were. This is MR because we go one tense back. So present continuous should be changed to past continuous. Then being the as an auxiliary should be brought over here. And then V3, main verb in third form, BP, by phrase. If there's anything else rest of the sentence, then punctuation mark. So you do not need quotation mark in indirect speech. You do not need comma in indirect speech because instead of comma you use the and that. So now I'm going to read both of them. You pay close attention. He said the car is being washed by him. And now indirect speech, they told me, or he told me, sorry I brought they but it should be he told me that the car was being washed by him. So the car is being washed by him. He told me that the car was being washed by him. So is being washed present continuous in passive form, was being past continuous in passive form. Negative sentences, almost similar structures, but that is added because it's negative. So she said, you are being admired by my parents. You are not being admired by my parents. So again, just pay attention over here. You have a comma between the two parts of your direct speech. He said, this is the reporting speech. You are not being admired by my parents. That is the reported speech. You need a comma in direct speech between these two parts. And you need punctuation marks. Quotation marks or inverted commas. You need to bring, the direct speech inside quotation marks or inverted commas. So here. But when it comes to indirect speech, you do not need that comma because instead of that comma, you use the conjunction. And you do not need the inverted commas, quotation marks, because it's indirect speech and you want to bring somebody else's speech in your own words with some changes. And you go one tense back. Present continuous tense should be changed to past continuous tense. So she told me that I was not being admired by her parents. The concept is clear. Interrogative sentences or yes, no questions. Okay, there's just difference. Like in affirmative sentences and negative sentences, you needed the conjunction that. Okay, but here you need the if. or weather. You can use weather, the word weather as well. But if is very common. Okay, so look at the example. He asked, comma, question marks started here. Is he being trained by Mr. Adam? And question mark. And then quotation marks are closed here. And then punctuation mark, I mean period outside. So once again, I mean, inside quotation marks, we need a question mark because this is somebody else's sentence. It starts with auxiliary. It's a question. It's a yes, no question. Therefore, inside the quotation marks, we need a question mark. But outside the quotation marks, we need a period because, you know, it's my sentence and it starts with the subject and it's affirmative from the beginning. Okay. So now you want to change to indirect speech, indirect speech. So here's the structure. I mean, he asked me if he was being trained by Mr. Adam. I want you to pay close attention here. Okay, look. I mean, first of all, you need inversion. Inversion means like changing the positions of the auxiliary verb subject. Like here is he. See, auxiliary is comes first and then subject he. But here he subject comes first and then auxiliary. It changed to its second form. Why? Because we have to go one tense back, so it's present continuous. We should go past continuous tense. So therefore, is the to be is changed to was. So this inversion in interrogative sentences or yes no questions is very important. Okay, don't forget this. You don't have any other changes. I mean, this is the only change. I mean, you know, is she was. I mean, is he was. And of course, instead of comma, you need the conjunction if. And then the same auxiliary being is used here. And then the main verb is always in past participle third form in all 12 tenses. And then the exact words. So this is how you can change negative sentences from direct speech into indirect speech. Negative interrogative sentences, again, you use the conjunction if. There are two ways. Some people use the complete form, some people use the short form. I mean, the short form is very common in daily spoken or written English. And the complete form would be somehow like very formal. You may use it in very formal English. Like how? She asked, aren't you being disturbed by what's going on over here? Okay, aren't you being disturbed by what's going on here? So if you want to use the complete form, are you not being disturbed by what's going on here? So that would be the complete form. The short form is very common. So when you want to change this negative interrogative from direct speech into indirect speech. So here's the structure. You can use it. Pause the video. You can, you know, write it down, or you can take a picture of it or whatever, or screenshot. Okay. If you want to use it in the future, and I mean making these kind of sentences. So it's really up to you. So she asked me if I wasn't being disturbed by what was going on there. Some changes are brought over here because aren't you is changed to if I was not. I mean, instead of comma if, and aren't you, inversion is done over here. I mean, subject comes first here. Aren't is changed to wasn't, and being disturbed by what is going on here and what was going on there. So these are the changes. WH or information questions. For WH or information questions, you do not need any sort of conjunction. Neither that nor if. The WH word itself functions like a conjunction in this case. Okay, look at the example. She asked, when is the final exam being taken? She asked, when is the final exam being taken? Indirect speech. She wanted to know when the final exam was being taken. So I hope you liked this video, and if you liked it, so please share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel for more useful videos like this in the future. Have a great time and